Yeah, that's me. I'm in hell right now. You might be wondering why I'm here since I already found the ultimate cheese strat for beating the Cambions. Well, the truth is, I haven't left hell in months. Why? Because there are so many interesting bugs in this game, and I'm obsessed with finding them all. I have a serious problem, and I'm not getting it fixed. And honestly, you all are just as guilty as I am for feeding into my worst habits. Which reminds me, thank you all so much for 1,000 subscribers! I genuinely appreciate it, and now that I know you all love seeing these glitches and exploits, I'm gonna show you all the cool, the interesting, and the totally useless bugs I came across while I was trying to find a way to cheese the Cambions. Intro noises! I am roseknight, and I have spent 870 hours playing Baldur's Gate 3, and half of that time has been spent on the Nautiloid. And the other half has been spent in character creation, all thanks to the first exploit I want to talk about, creating 4 custom characters on PC. Now, I want to start by saying I did not discover this exploit. Far from it. In fact, this has been around for as long as early access, and since I wasn't the one that discovered it, I'm not going to go in depth on how you do it. The first person I saw show this one off was a YouTuber called Wolfheart FPS. So thanks to his video for showing me this originally, and to go over the exploit briefly, I'll just say this. If you close Steam and open the game using the BG3.exe file, you can open multiple instances of the game, and as long as your computer can handle it, you can have up to 4 custom characters right from the start of the game. And this will be the only exploit that I don't go over because I didn't personally find it. Moving on to the next glitch, however, this one is called the fly through the wall glitch. I know, I'm so creative with names, you can just leave a like down below. If you go into the room where you recruit us and stand over by this wall, you can actually fly through here and land directly in the hallway that's just before the boss fight. Or at least your familiar can. Further testing is needed to find out if the player can do the same with a Storm Sorcerer. If one of you wants to give it a try, please let me know if it works in the comments below. I found this glitch while trying to attack the Cambions with magic missiles through the wall. This actually wound up working, but unfortunately, attacking the Cambions in this way still drags you into combat, so there aren't many real uses for it. But interestingly enough, the second glitch I found, if you attack the Cambions in this way, and you chose to move down here into the imp room and stand in this exact spot, the Cambions will try to pathfind their way toward you, but they'll get stuck in this funny loop like a bunch of idiots. Look at them. Look at them and laugh. The fools. I'll call this glitch the dumb Cambion confusion glitch. When I discovered this exploit, my first thought was maybe I could use it to somehow lure the Cambions down to the first floor of the Nautiloid. Why would I want to do something like that, you might ask? Well, this was before I found out you could attack the Cambions while in combat with Derek. My original plan was to lure the Cambions down here using us, so I could stealthily blow up the Nautiloid tanks with my Tav character, and knock the 2 Cambions off the ship. Because for those of you who don't know, or never noticed, explosive barrels have a push force when they explode. Every creature within range of the explosion will be pushed away from the barrel a certain distance. And the best part? There is no saving throw for this. It's just a guaranteed push, which makes it super reliable without requiring save scumming. The only downside to this strategy was that the closest ledge on the Nautiloid for the Cambions to fall off is right here, which means us will have to lure both Cambions to at least this tunnel in order for them to naturally pathfind their way to this ledge. Not an incredibly easy task for the 20 hit point brain puppy. In fact, after hours of trying this, I decided it was way too inconsistent of a strategy to work. Us was just way too likely to die. That is unless we use Francis and Derek to distract the Cambions from us, just long enough for him to make it into this hallway here, which is how I discovered my next glitch. The Mind Flare Early Enemy Glitch. For you see, when the Cambions kill either Francis or Derek, for some reason that flags the Mind Flare to turn hostile towards the player. The Mind Flare will still prioritize damage on Commander Zulk while like this, but if given the opportunity, it will use an AoE Mind Blast attack on both Zulk and your party. so be careful if you're gonna mess with this. But otherwise, this glitch does actually have some benefit to it, since now that the Mind Flayer is considered an enemy instead of an ally, it no longer has to be killed by you, because allies don't give experience unless you personally kill them, whereas enemies give experience no matter how they die. I have no idea how it works. It doesn't make any sense to me. What does the Cambions killing these two thralls have to do with triggering hostility from the Mind Flayer towards the player? I'd love to hear your theories in the comments because I have no clue what's happening. The world may never know. Just like the world may never know if you can kill the Cambions by pushing them off the ship. Because the truth is, when I was originally theory crafting and playtesting, I messed up while setting up the test. I ended up casting Sanctuary on us to give him just a little bit more staying power. But as it turns out, the Cambions won't even bother targeting a creature if they have that spell cast on them. So just to make sure I could even bring them down to the first floor, I decided to use my Tav to lure them down instead, who was laying in wait to blow up the Nautiloid tank. When I got back up to the pod room, I wound up getting targeted by Francis and Derek, but since I wanted them alive as distractions, all I could do was ignore them and run straight for the Cambions. I decided the best way to get their attention was to shoot a firebolt at them and let them chase me down. But when I did that, something amazing happened. I shot my firebolt, and it missed. That wasn't the amazing part. Honestly, I expected that to happen. What I didn't expect was for the Cambions to just ignore the attack altogether. I tried again to make sure it wasn't a one-off fluke. I even wound up taking a beating from the two thralls in the process. But it was worth it, because this time it hit, dealing 2 damage. And it still got no reaction from the Cambions. And that is the story of how I found the keystone glitch for my Cambion cheese strat, completely by accident. I immediately scrapped the convoluted plan to lure the Cambions, and you already know where the rest of the story goes from here. But with all that being said, I'm still curious on whether my original plan would have worked. Could I have knocked the Cambions off the ledge consistently? Oh, I just want to try it and see if it works. Let's do it, okay?
Later, in the void.
So, I set everything up with Francis and Derek awake and hostile, or at least they should be. Okay, so I found a new glitch. Interestingly enough, as soon as the Cambions become hostile, the thralls stop being hostile for some reason. They saw the devils and just decided they wanted no part of this. Well, that's too bad, because I'm gonna lead the Cambions right to them. And while they are getting slaughtered, I got us into position exactly as planned. Once the Cambions were done playing with Derek and Francis, they started chasing us again. I eventually let the Cambions kill us down here, since I knew they would pathfind to this ledge once they were done. The reason they do that, by the way, is because the Cambions can't see the difference in height between themselves and the player characters while they're pathfinding. So they think they're actually right next to Lae'zel and Shadowheart, even though they're a whole floor apart. Funny how that works. In any case, once they were here with all the barrels pre-set up, I went ahead and sent the Everburn blade to my tab. This is it. Everything is in place. All I have to do now is throw the sword and it's over. Here we go. But before we get to that, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. Seriously, you're all amazing. And I know I'm kind of being selfish here, but I have one small request for you all. I'd really appreciate it if you could do the same for this video's small creator shoutout. For the uninitiated, I do shoutouts of small creators every edited video. As a small creator myself, I know how hard it is to find your audience, and I want to do whatever I can to help wherever I can. That's why this video goes out to Mochi's house.
Today we're going to be playing a horror game, Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. That actually got me.
Fudge!
Oh, this is gonna go so well, I can just tell. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, why is that happening? Why is that happening? Why is there a VHS filter? Oh, I've entered some sort of analog horror. The interlopers are gonna show up. What? It's fine, Mochi, it's fine, Mochi. You're not gonna die. No, we're gonna die! Now you get to feel
Your
proud.
score so far is this.
We conquered our fears.
Surprise bonus for
We
this round
made a
is
panda in a
this.
spacesuit cry. Maybe I'm a little more calm because of that. Am I? What was that? No, 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 no. Why? No shit. Oh god. 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 Oh god.
So that was Mochi. She did a bunch of horror games for Halloween. It was super funny, and if you liked those clips, absolutely go check out her channel. For the sake of the algorithm, leave likes and comments on everything, and be sure to tell her that Rose Knight sent you. Links to their channel in the description below, and you'll find my personal favorite video of theirs linked at the end of this video. And if you have anyone you want me to shout out in a future video, head on over to my Discord. Post their info in the small creator shoutout section. I'll check them out, and if I like what I see, I'll shout them out in a future video. But with all that being said, on with the show. What? You saw that, right? They did go overboard, but they immediately spawned back where they were, ready to kill me? Well, that's disappointing, which is why I'm glad the current exploit still works, because I got nothing to replace it with right now. Wait a minute. The game just updated while I was editing this. They didn't remove the exploit, did they? Okay, good. It doesn't look like they have. That's a relief. A whole lot of you really liked my last video. It'd be awful if they just up and patched it out a few weeks later. Speaking of people enjoying that video, there were a ton of comments about how to optimize my exploit even further. So real quick, I just want to go over some of the tips and tricks that you were all kind enough to share with me. Starting with MaxQ Videos, who told me that they had a much smoother experience by disabling the dynamic combat camera. And along those same lines, Orion Weiss 5418 says that if you place your preferred attack in your custom hotbar, you can pass your turn rapidly using spacebar and target a consistent point on the screen. These two methods, when combined, greatly reduce the time this exploit takes. So thank you both very much. Taser2 5597 asked if it was possible to hex a Cambion for increased damage. And when I said I didn't know because I hadn't tested it yet, they took the initiative and tested it out themselves, and let me know that hex does in fact work and will not alert the Cambions to drag you into the fight. And on top of that, London Lyle 9445 let me know that Fairy Fire also works to give you advantage on the Cambions. But even better than that is that the timer for Fairy Fire counts down on the Cambion's turn, not the player's turn. So the advantage you get is permanent, apparently. Thank you both so much for sharing those buff spells with me. This next one is for those console players out there. Nathaniel Jeffries 5491 mentioned that they were able to have multiple characters on console by using multiple controllers. So even though you can't use Wolfheart's method, you can still cheese just as well as any PC player without the use of mods. Now for my greatest shame, because I forgot to mention a few things in my original video that a lot of you pointed out. Bowser Levix, YSL060704, Hyperion Nox, and Groody21. I'm so sorry. All four of them had the same issue with shorter races not being able to use spell attacks on the second Cambion. That's because the wall has a curve to it, making it incredibly difficult to angle the shot correctly. For the record, this exploit still works for shorter characters, it's just a lot harder to do it with them. But using an attack with a curved line like a bow or crossbow will remove the issue altogether. Using an attack with no line, like Bone Chill or Radiant Flame, won't work for some reason, and that's my bad for everyone that I told to try that. It doesn't work. Sorry. And finally, an attack with a straight line like Firebolt or Eldritch Blast does work, but you need to stand in the exact right spot, and you need to aim with pinpoint accuracy. To get that spot consistently, here's generally where you need to click in order to stand there, just before the top step. I had this in my original script, but I ended up cutting it because it felt too wordy explaining it all. I see now that that was my mistake. I'm sorry. Another thing I cut was the fact that you don't need to use these giant chests to block the doorway. You can use the smaller chests and even the brain in the jar items. I even did it in the video, I just didn't mention that you could do it. And the last thing I cut was this little trick. If you leave through this door, Derek will actually drop combat with you. so you can activate the restoration chamber and get all your spells back. If you're in honor mode, however, restoration chambers are one use only. And that's exactly why I cut it from the script, since it wasn't going to be useful for every run. And with that, that is everything I know about the Nautiloid. Hundreds of hours of experimentation has led me here. And I think I'm finally ready to beat Baldur's Gate 3. But don't hold me to that. I'm easily distracted. I've barely seen Act 2. I've only beaten it once. And don't even get me started on Act 3. This game might just take me the rest of my life at this rate. And I am totally okay with that. I'm having a blast. But yeah, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did and you want to watch more of my Baldur's Gate 3 content, go check out my Too Many Mods video, where I completely break the game before it got its official mod update in patch 7. And if you really enjoyed my video and you're already up to date with everything I've released so far, then oh my god. Thank you so much. You've more than proven yourself a superfan, but if you'd like to support me in my videos more, then you could always become a channel member. For just $3 a month, you can help me become a true professional on this platform. It would mean that I don't need to take as many freelance jobs, which would give me more time to make what I really want to here on my channel. Plus, you'd get access to these fine emojis, and you can show off that you're a channel member with these badges. Speaking of channel members, a huge shout out and thank you, as always, to Shoutout and Ratty Beats. Thank you both so much for your continued support. And until next time, outro noises.